we are getting ready. All right. Hi, welcome everybody. No one's in the room yet, so I'm just talking to those of you who are not watching this live. And I want to say, hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is water. I will be drinking water from now on. Also, no longer in pajamas, but I love the intro and I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to have it be the same, and only those OG morning tea watchers will understand why I say what I say. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, if you look down below, I have linked my merch. I finally went to Teespring after months and months and months of anxiety. I went to Teespring. I linked it up with my YouTube channel. I created some t-shirts that I hope sell. Part of my anxiety is like thinking that nobody wants my shit and like, who the fuck cares and who am I for doing this? You know, like who do I think I have having merchandise? But if you don't know, I got a new logo in February, and with that new logo, I had her specifically make melanated, something that can be put on a t-shirt. So that design for melanated is something that I paid for. So I'm hoping that people like it and they want to wear it. I'm going to add more stuff, obviously. I just want to see what, if any sells right now, what people would want. So if you have any suggestions of things you would love to see in my Teespring store, please leave it down below. And people are coming into the room now. We are 1 minute and 39 seconds in. It is 12 noon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got 36 people in this room, 16 likes. If I could get some likes, go on ahead and give me some likes, you guys. And let me go over here and say hi to everybody who's here. Oh my God, Chris Farah is here. Welcome, Lynn J. So I don't know how long either of you guys can be here. My two moderators, Chris Farah, Lynn J. I was wondering if there was anything that someone said in the comment section that you found to be interesting or pertinent, if you could just type it to me or something. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I want to, there are people who say things while I say something and I literally have to scroll back to be able to do it. So if you have something interesting to say, you just wait to say it until I'm looking at the comment section. All right, let me go back and say hi to everybody. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Kim. Just here. Lisa, Linda again from Seattle checking in. Thank you. Esther, Chris is here. Laverne, Summer, Chantal. I already said Chantal. May is here. Did I get Lisa already? Karen, Jessie Lee. Hey, Jessie. And Dawn, Pierre, what's up? Thanks, Pierre. And Lucy, thank you so much for being here. Simone, teacher. Okay, so we've got all the usual suspects, Quasimodem, and we've got some other people that I haven't, whose names I haven't seen before, but thank you so much for coming through, saying hello. 4750 people, 28 likes. All right, 3 minutes in. 12:02, let's get started. You guys, I'm going to first be really transparent and say that I only have 2 stories. So if you know of anything that is happening, I need you to please put it over right now. So put it in the comment section so that I can talk about it. I've had such a crazy week. Like, I have such a crazy week. So Nipsey Hussle is the only thing I know that happened. All right, so let's talk about Nipsey Hussle. So Nipsey Hussle is an MC, a rapper, and a community leader and an activist. He is born and bred here in California, Southern California to be specific. He said that he at some point was a gang banger and had a typical LA black male history if you grew up in LA during the 90s, So I don't know much about him. For me, being from LA, I've heard the name Nipsey Hussle, but I had no idea he was from LA. Like, I know Kendrick because Kendrick is, from LA. And I know The Game, he's from LA. Like, people who I know are from LA, I usually, at least kind of know about them. I only have ever heard the name Nipsey Hussle, and that's because I know who Nipsey Russell was. And I was like, oh, that's a clever take on that. But I've never heard not one thing this person has put out. And so many people were upset. My timeline was flooded with people who were just like, yeah, rest in peace, like Nipsey Hussle, my heart is hurting, DJ Quick, like all these people that I follow on Instagram that are California-based musicians were all like, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. And I'm like, how is he the only person that I don't know, that I don't like? And especially that he's doing good stuff in the community. How do I not know this person? So I feel real dumb. And I'm actually really sad, you know, based upon the things that I found out about him that he'd done for the community. I'm really sad that to have lost somebody who was actively giving back to the community. And I heard that there were other rappers who were like willing to step in and do things. And I mean, when I say rapper, I mean this because it was Nick Cannon. And like, is he a rapper? No. And so apparently the person who killed him was either somebody who was from his gang or somebody from another gang. And it killed him over a personal dispute. Like because Nipsey said something to him or embarrassed him at some point at a function or something. And so his response is to come back and kill him. And like, not just like in a rage, like get out of the car, see the guy on the ground and continue shooting him in front of his store. I like, it's crazy. This person's name is Eric Holder. And I was like, Eric Holder, you know, obviously the first person I'm thinking about is the Attorney General, you know, of the United States during the Obama administration. So I was just like, what? Like, it's crazy. But the community is like, the community's like really hurt. And I just feel bad that I don't know who he is. And I feel bad for his family. His girlfriend was Lauren London, who I guess is an actress, but the only thing I know her for is being somebody who, I'm going to say this and this is rude, but one of the people who've allowed Lil Wayne to have unprotected sex with them. Like, she has a baby by Lil Wayne. And I think to myself, who would have unprotected sex with Lil Wayne? I just don't think that he doesn't have all of the STIs. So, but, you know, Lauren London, people revere her and they're like, you know, it was his girlfriend for a long time. They had a son together. So I really sucks for her, like goes out to her because this whole situation with like, I don't know, like, I just feel bad for women when they lose men that they, you know, like were planning on having a future with. Just like, I feel bad for anybody, but like, oh, it's his wife? I heard it was his girlfriend. So yeah, I'm sad for her, having to go through this. Like, you know who else I'm also sad for is P. Diddy because of Kim Porter. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he really loved her and I just feel really bad. Not to say that I don't feel bad for other people, but sometimes when I could tell that somebody loves somebody else and then they lose that person, I just feel really bad for them because regardless of what I think, if they thought that about that person, then I have to respect that. I mean, yeah, I've heard that Lil Wayne is very charismatic. I've heard that he's a different person outside of his public persona. So I've definitely heard those things just from the outsider perspective. I'm just like, ooh. But she's not the only one. So it's not like I'm like, I don't like her. So I don't dislike her. I'm just saying that she's just one of those women who've allowed that to happen to themselves. But that's a side note tangent. So there's that for Nipsey Hussle. It sucks. It is Logitech HD 1080. It's what I used. The camera, someone asked me what camera it is. It's what I used for my 90 Day Fiance after show snippet. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I did like the very first episode of Michelle Collins's like 90 Day Fiance. What is it called? After, like the after show, the one everybody was so upset that they had to watch. I'm like, you didn't have to watch it. As soon as you realized the episode was over, you could literally just have stopped watching the episode and went on to watch something else. But anyway, so I did like a pop-up. I was like a little persona on that, its first episode. And then they never went back to using 90 Day Fiance personalities or 90 Day Fiance, like people who watch it. And I was just like, oh, why not me? Anyways. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is Chris Watts. Somebody gave me a suggestion to do to talk about Chris Watts because apparently he did something terrible, and he did. Okay, so Chris Watts pled guilty to killing his wife and children, and will be spared the death penalty. So I guess because he pled guilty, they're not going to go for the death penalty, but he's going to serve 3 consecutive life sentences. How do you guys feel about the death penalty? this man did something despicable. Look him up. Let me finish him. He killed his wife. I can't even get to the point where I can find out why, but he tried to pretend like he didn't do it initially. He got on camera begging to, if anybody has any information about my wife and everything, and lo and behold, he had actually killed all of them. His wife was pregnant, and then he killed two. He has two girls as well. I'm not going to go into why he did it because obviously, does it really matter? Like, there's nothing that can be said about it. All right. Ooh, you guys are going crazy. The death penalty. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not against it. And I think that makes me for it. But like, I'm going to say something and it's going to be a very unpopular opinion. And again, I'm working through it as we are all working through our thoughts. I think that some people deserve to die. And I don't know what the financial cost it is to hold somebody in prison, or what the purpose is of holding somebody in prison when they have taken a life. Now, I do think it depends on the circumstances. So, and I'm not going to even name those because I know I'm going to have somebody in the comment section who's like, so if someone kills someone for this, they deserve to live. When someone kills someone for this, and I'm just like, I think there's a difference between cold-blooded murder and someone who is involved in a drive-by in gang violence. I think that the person who's shooting or the person who's whatever, like, there's a difference for me because I think that one is coming from a place where the people think that they are in not the Wild West, but they think of it as survival. And I think there are other ways of people who accidentally kill somebody, which is like when it's manslaughter or like, I don't know, it differs for me in my brain. And I don't think that it's fair to say that my way is the right way. It's just how I process it as a human being, and other people process it differently. But I do think that there are people who deserve to die. Now, who those people are, I don't want to be the person who has to make that decision. I just think it's personal for me. The financial cost is with the cost of doing the death penalty and the court costs and the appeals. I don't know about the death penalty. I believe that life in prison should mean life in prison. Cheaper to keep them for years. Oh, is it? It's cheaper to keep somebody alive? Yeah, I just don't know. Okay, great, Quasi. I didn't realize it was cheaper to keep them alive. That is interesting. Well, then, yeah. Then I see, and that's the thing. It sways me, but I'm like, if it's cheaper, because I already feel like we already have enough people in prison as it is, and like we need to do prison reform like 100%. And another reason why I don't like the death penalty is because the system is so flawed that you're supposed to, like, if the system really worked, nobody would be convicted unless there were 3 witnesses and all of the physical evidence. Because otherwise, it just depends on how your lawyer spins it. The law is so subjective that it depends on what court you're in front of. Like, it's not all justice is blind. Like, it's not as even field as you would like for it to be. And like, you could kill someone who legitimately didn't do it because for whatever reason, the jury believed this crying woman on the stand, but in another case that's exactly the same, a different jury didn't believe the exact same crying woman, and so one person gets up. You get what I'm saying? Like, I say crying woman because I just say you don't know ever what can sway a jury, right? You don't know what can do that. And it depends on the prosecution and if they blame somebody else. So the whole thing that you're doing when you're in the courtroom is trying to determine whether this guy did it or this person did it without a shadow of a doubt. But if there's any kind of suspicion of disbelief, if there's any kind of something that gnaws at you that says, well, that could mean that the person didn't do it, then you're not supposed to vote guilty. You're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then it all has to be unanimous. I mean, it's put in place, I think, for a good reason, but because of how flawed the system is, like, there are tons of people who are in prison for crimes that they didn't commit, just because they didn't have a good enough lawyer and there was circumstantial evidence. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's be fair to kill them. So that's one reason I'm against it. But if we know without a shadow of a doubt and somebody admitted to it, you could go. So, yeah. Cheaper to keep her. What do you think of Drew Peterson's case? I don't know who Drew Peterson is. Court is more about presentation and how they make you feel. It seems more objective jurors are not actually wanted. Yeah, especially because they're allowed to like vet the jury the way they are. Whereas like, you know, you can ask the prosecutor and the defense can ask a bunch of questions to someone and someone can answer a question where they're like, well, your response to that is not going to go in line with my line of questioning or the way I'm fighting this case as the defense attorney. So no, because you're not going to be on my side. I'm not going to be able to sway you. So like, I don't know. Drew is the cop killer. His wives. Some went missing. Drew is the cop who killed his wives. Some went missing. Whoa. Whoa. What's his name? Drew. Where'd his name go? My partner is a lawyer, and he says that justice and the law aren't always the same thing. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, Pierre, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. Peterson, there we go. All right, I'll look it up. So what else is happening with you guys today? So those of you guys who are not watching this live, at this point, this is all I'm talking about. So you can check out if you want to. I'm just going to be going around Googling stuff. It says Drew Peterson is an actor, so that's not his name. It says Peterson, but okay, let's say wife killer. Oof, that's horrible. Murderer. Okay, Drew Peterson murder. All right. Drew Peterson. What did I put? Oh, I put Patterson. I do mean Drew Peterson. Drew Walter Peterson, a retired Bolingbrook police sergeant who was convicted in 2012 for the murder of his wife a few months after their divorce. Peterson first received national publicity in 2007 when his fourth wife, Stacey Ann, disappeared. Although law enforcement and Stacey Ann's family suspect foul play, she has never been found. Yeah, I mean, these people, I feel like people who are like serial killers, I don't think that they have you guys read It? Stephen King does a really good job of getting into the mind of a serial killer, a young serial killer. So if you haven't read the books, you're not going to know who I'm talking about. But in the books, there's this character who Stephen King writes from him as a child's perspective of him not believing that he was in reality, like not thinking that this world was real. And so just kind of going through life, doing what he needed to do to get things for himself. So like he didn't really ever show any love to his parents, and his parents always thought he was kind of odd, but like he needed to eliminate people that were in his life that were causing him stress. And the first person that he eliminated in his life that was causing him bother, that was taking attention away from him, was his younger sibling. And he smothered the younger sibling in this younger sibling's crib. And the parents refused to believe that that's probably what happened, because he just like, I think he was like 5 or 6 at the time. And then like Stephen King, the way he writes him. So anyways, Stephen King did a good job of writing him, because that's now kind of how I think about people who are serial killers, or people who just like meditate, not premeditated, but like they feel like they have this power to do so. The power and the conviction and the desire to take someone's life makes me think that you have some kind of God complex. Like, it makes me feel like you, hey Kim, have some kind of detachment to humanity. And I think that personality trait is in a lot of different people, but in some people, it pushes to the forefront more so than in others. Like, I think as a society, we need those type of God personalities, because that's how, like civilizations get built. And a lot of disaster comes with that. Like a lot of those megalomaniacs end up becoming like dictators and stuff. But if it's balanced in a person, I think that it could be a quality attribute. And when it's not balanced in a person is when we have situations where there's like serial killers. I mean, sometimes we have them to where they're just like people who are disenfranchised and maybe had a lot of abuse growing up. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just regular people who've had no abuse growing up and are just literally born with a switch a little bit higher in a certain, you know what I mean? Like with a switch turned to where they're just like, if you get in my way, I'm going to hurt you. Like, you know, whose birthday is it? Well, happy birthday to whose ever birthday it is. Oh, Quasi, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Let's sing happy birthday to Quasi. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. There you go. You got both of them. All right. The big changes come from people who are drunk with power, just like you might be believing capital punishment, but you won't flip the switch. Yeah, like it's really crazy. So yeah. I'm interested in what most people think about the death penalty, because some people are so against it and some people are like so for it. And I just think it honestly depends. It honestly does. Okay, let's see what's on the shade room today. You guys have anything interesting to talk about? I put this riddle up on my page and people are now starting to respond to it. But you guys, this riddle is like ridiculous. I have to delete. It says specifically don't put the response in the comment section or it'll be deleted. And people are putting it in the comment section. So I'm going to have to delete this. Oh, this is going to take all my life. Anyway, so I put a riddle up on Instagram, and I got it wrong. I thought I was so clever, and I was like, oh, it's this, obviously, and it wasn't. So go on to Instagram and DM me your response, and if you get it correctly, then I will put a trophy next to your name, or put it down in the description box with the trophy next to your name. I think it's kind of a dumb riddle, but, you know, whatever. Okay. What do you think about... What do you think happened to JonBenet Ramsey? I think that she was murdered by whoever. What was it, like her hairstylist and her mom? Like, I don't remember who the people were who were under suspicion, but I definitely think that it was an accident. And I think they had to get rid of her. They had to get rid of the body, and they did. Like, I didn't understand what the big deal was because I was so young when it came out. I didn't understand like why this was such a huge deal. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, oh my God, it's like that Casey Anthony woman who like killed her children and then was like distraught or whatever for a while. And then finally we realized that she actually killed them. You know what? I'm not somebody who's like, oh, they're monsters. I think that there are anomalies. I think that people fall on all different parts of whatever spectrum, right? I think that in the dating world, I'm on this side of the spectrum with never nothing. And then there's these people who've never not had, you know what I'm saying? I think that there are people who fall all within the spectrum. And that has to do with motherhood. I think that there are people who fall all within the spectrum. I mean, it's one thing to not want your kid, and it's a whole other thing to kill them. Like, so I think it's an interesting combination. Like, obviously, this is a person who has mental problems and has always had mental problems. And it's just been something that hasn't manifested itself in a way to where anybody around her and her family was able to like pinpoint it, because she's probably never had to own a life, right? I do think that there are people out there, parents who think that they own their children's lives. Like that whole thing, like sometimes in the Black community, there's like, I brought you into this world, I could take you out of it. It's still that like weird mentality of like this person being like, I can do this, or she snapped. But I don't think she snapped. I don't feel like she's somebody who had a psychotic break and just was like, demons made me do it, and I thought I was saving them. Like, I didn't think this was a haunting on Hill House. You know what I'm saying? I felt like this was more so like a person who just had been relatively powerful in their life, was like a princess and got what they wanted, like not super rich, but within the confounds of whatever their life was, and then had these children, and perhaps they didn't get the support that they thought they were going to get from the dad or whatever, and then was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And if I try to just give them away, then I'm going to be looked at a certain kind of way. So my only other option is just to kill them. I'm sure I could just do it real easily and just say it was an accident and people will believe me. Like, that's what I think like it happened. And she has had enough hubris and enough like ego to think that she could get away with it. Cause that's something that's also in it too, is fucking ego. Like, you've got big balls if you think that you could kill somebody and get away with it. I mean, there are people who do, but like the fact that you think you're not going to get away with it, like huge cojones. Like huge. So the case against Anand Syed is from the podcast Serial. I didn't finish listening to the full podcast because I was pissed. I couldn't listen to it because I felt that he was innocent. And they just like attacked this poor Muslim kid and ruined his entire life, which is why I'm just so like, I'm trying to fight against respectability politics. And I know that they don't work and it's racist and it's all kinds of stuff. But until somebody comes up with another way for people or Black people or people of color to kind of navigate through this world to where like white people won't have an opportunity to like throw them into prison because of poverty and not having enough money and because of racism. Like, I'm like, pull up your pants, sir. And not to say that that's the same case for Saeed. I'm just saying, because it's a completely different thing. But I just feel like it's so easy for Black men to get put into prison. And it's so easy for them to be convicted. And it's so easy for people's whole lives to be ruined because they don't have enough money to fight the system. And that's what I feel like what happened with Anand was not necessarily was not that at all. It was more so just, maybe he did have the money, but I feel like the Islamophobia or whatever that was happening at the time, because the person that he killed was a Korean girl, like it was his girlfriend, but because they were both very quiet about their relationship, like there was no one to found or to say like, oh, they were in a loving relationship and he would have never done that. It was kind of like everybody just jumped in and it felt like it was a time when like speculation and feelings were put into place and not like facts. So that was just that. I need to listen to that podcast, Black and Latino Men. If there's any horror rights against the color is another reason that the capital. Yeah, you're right, Quasi. That is another reason to not have capital punishment. Yeah, it's because people get put into jail all the time and they didn't do it. Oh, Punky, you made it. Thanks, Lynn. So go on ahead and give this video a thumbs up, you guys. We got 58 people. Well, 132 people in this room. Welcome. What are you guys doing? How are you guys? What did you come here to do? Hear me blather on? Give this video a thumbs up. Hi, Doris. Lisa. Okay, so I have a question. Is noon too early? Would there some of you prefer me coming on at 12:30? That would be 8:30 for the Londoners. I'm just trying to find a decent time. I know 3:30 for the East Coast people. So yeah. No, it's 12. It's not 12:30. It's 12. So I can change it to 12:30 because I feel like I get like a rush of people within the last like between 12:15 and 12:30, and if I can get you guys all here at the same time, that'd be better. Okay. So yeah, 12:30. No, I'm in Europe and this works for me. I know, but just 12:30. If you're in Europe, it's only half an hour later. Okay. I will go back and look at what you guys say and see if it works better. Well, we can check because I like want to get off after about 30 minutes. All right. And I think that's it. I honestly don't have anything else to talk about. Who's excited about Game of Thrones coming up? Would you guys like me to do a live about Game of Thrones? Because I want to talk about it because I'm going to need to talk about it. But I don't want to film a whole ass video on it because I want to interact with you guys during it. There's that. That's what I'm thinking. I have to watch Married at First Sight, which I already watched the second couple announcements, which I'm like shocked. I thought I'm shocked. So, okay, yeah, definitely doing a Game of Thrones. And then for 90 Day Fiancé, that's coming back April 28th. I'm a little bummed about the cast. Like, why are we watching Paula? Like, I want to watch Karini. I want to watch Karini and Paul. I mean, I know they just had that baby. But yeah. Oh my God. Jazz. Yeah. Yes. Maths. It's crazy. Anyway, so okay, let me tell you from 90 Day Fiancé who I don't like, and then we'll circle back to maths. Maybe I'll just stop this and do a whole maths one. I think that's what I'll do. I'm going to stop this and then we'll talk about maths. Well, no, we can't because I didn't finish watching the episode. Tomorrow we'll talk about maths. Okay, so I'm not excited for Paola and Russ. Like, who the F cares about them? Like, who the fuck cares about them for real? And then I'm excited about Nicole and Azan because this will be the last time I'll be able to watch them with any kind of pleasure. I think that after this season, I'll be like, just fucking get it together, Nicole. Get it together, girl. But right now I'm still in here for the crash because he's still around, which is so shocking. It's so shocking, especially because he only likes her 55%. Okay, and then somebody on Instagram put that they saw the cast of us, and they're like, I'm only into this 55%. And I was like, oh, what a great joke. Maybe 55%. Yeah, like good. Okay, so then who else? Chantel, Family Day Chantel. Hey, Family Day Chantel. Hey, 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 hey. Oh my God, I'm so excited for Family Day Chantel. Elizabeth and Andre, like, okay, it seems like the same argument. Like, Elizabeth's sisters are still looking at Andre like, you're the problem. We didn't have any arguments before you got here. And Elizabeth's just like, I'm just like, why don't you tell your peoples that you love him in period point blank and they need to stop telling him that everything's fallen apart since he got there? Like, just handle your people, Elizabeth. But they had their baby. And who else is there? No Angela and no Michael, which is exactly what this season needed. Who else was there? Whoever else it is, I don't care about it. Andre will be the villain, yeah. Is anyone else? Who else is there? So Azan, I'm excited about. Family Day Chantel, I'm excited about. There was one other. Oh, Larissa and Colty. Like, okay, I'll take it. I will take it just because Larissa says the craziest things. And like, we need that. We need it. We need a Larissa. So those are my three. The ones that I'm just like, why are you here is Powell and, I just thought of the other one. Powell and Jay and Ashley. Blech. Why is Jay and Ashley there? Why is Jay and Ashley there? No, no, no. We don't want it. We don't want them. And then I'm like, whatever about Elizabeth and Andre. So, I don't know. Ooh, you don't like, Dee Dee doesn't like Colty and Larissa. She said, miss me on that one. You know what? They provide entertainment. I mean, it's already spoiled because we know that they divorce at the Crazy Horse, but I mean, they have divorce parties, but like, she's still good TV. And I just feel really, I just am like, you know what? You came to this country and you made the most of this. Like, she really did. If you think about what she did, she came to this country and completely made the most of 90 Day Fiancé. Oh, yeah, I heard Angela's daughter is in prison. No, I didn't hear she was in prison. I heard that her trial finally happened. Ashley and Jay bother me so much. What's going on with David and what's her name? Oh, David and Annie. They seem to be doing well. I mean, I follow her on Instagram. I think she takes great pictures. She shows delicious cuisine that I want to eat. Like, I'm like, oh, Annie. Like, I feel like just simply off of being on 90 Day Fiancé and making bomb-ass Thai food, she could have a little business in Louisville. Like, I would be there all the time. Like, what did Annie make today? Annie's Kitchen. You know, that should be the name of the Thai restaurant in Louisville. I'm over all of them. Yeah. All right, you guys. So we're at 33 minutes, and this has been a wonderful kiki with you guys, but I don't have any more topics to talk about, and I don't want to keep you guys here droning on with something that isn't specific. Another idea that I had, just to let you guys know before I leave, is I wanted to kind of do a story time and talk about like my dating experience and like talk about it in general, and then talk about like one specific situation. I've been kind of going back and forth with it because while I think a story time video would be interesting on my channel, I've never done one. I just feel like, do I really want to be that person that like gets on here and like does a story time? But I love watching them when people talk about the people that they're dating. So I'm just like, I should do one. And I think I'm going to like write it out so that I'm clear and consistent. Like, I'm going to have a whole outline so that I can explain the whole situation to you. All right. Thanks, Kim. thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Morning Tea. Don't forget to check out my merch that I have down below. If you like it, you can purchase it. You know, if you don't, then it's cool. If you have any suggestions of a shirt or something that you would like to see, let me know. I wanted to design something that's like, it's your class, ho. But I gotta make it, I want it to be real clever. So I gotta get somebody to design something. Even though I know it's totally rude to wear that, but I think I would wear that shirt. It would have to be a tank top. And it would just be like a summertime, like beachy situation with like, it's your class, ho. So rude. All right. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.